Estranged twins who see their mother who disappeared when they were infants. A treatment center where people can sleep off their grief. A gender-flipped version of The Little Mermaid. An examination of the way the Supreme Court has held up racial oppression, and the struggle to hold on to ancestral lands in Hawaii. I'm Veronica, and these are 5 new books I'm excited for being published in June 2025. First is The Catch by Yrsa Daley-Ward, published by Live Right, 320 pages. Of special note, Daley Wright's novel is the first novel being published by the collaboration between Live Right and Well Read Black Girl. The novel follows twin sisters Clara and Dempsey, who were torn apart from each other when their mother disappeared into the Thames when they were infants, and they were subsequently adopted by different families. Clara was adopted by a successful upper-class couple, while Dempsey went to the home of an unaffectionate city councilor. They passed through their lives estranged from each other until Clara sees a woman in London who looks exactly like their mother, only this one has enjoyed a childless life, the sort of life their mother would have enjoyed if the sisters had never been born. The sisters can't come to an agreement on what to do about this mysterious stranger, and their clashing opinions will drive them toward a conflict that will force them to finally confront their shared past. The publisher says, in her riveting first foray into fiction, Yrsa Daley-Ward conjures a kaleidoscopic multiverse of daughterhood and mother want, exploring the sacrifices that women must make for self-actualization. The result is a marvel of a debut novel that boldly asks, how can it ever be a crime to choose yourself? This is expected to be on shelves on June 3rd. The next book is The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlick, published by William Morrow, 324 pages. This speculative literary fiction takes place in a remote area of the desert in California and centers on an experimental and controversial treatment center where people suffering from the pain of loss can go to sleep through their pain. After this period of time passes, they'll be healed, but only if they're willing to accept the potential side effects. 4 strangers and a little dog journey to this center from the Midwest, and they hope to find the center's brilliant founder, with each of their pasts and secrets threatening to derail their pilgrimage and push it off course. The publisher describes the novel as high concept and speculative about heartache, hope, and human resilience. The Poppy Fields explores the path of grief and healing, a journey at once profoundly universal and unique to every person, posing the questions, how do we heal in the wake of great loss? And how far are we willing to go in order to be healed? Very eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. But I'm hopeful that this explores that idea from a new angle, and I'm curious to see what these potential side effects are. Any sort of left of normal fiction like this definitely piques my interest. The book is being released on June 17th. The next book is A Magic Deep in Drowning by Hester Fox, published by Graydon House, 304 pages. Okay, I'm not a fan of fantasy, but this gender-flipped retelling of The Little Mermaid caught my eye. Set in the Dutch Republic in 1650, 20-year-old Clara Van Wieren stumbles upon the portentous omen of a beached and rotting whale. She soon forgets it when she receives a proposal from a wealthy merchant who promises to give Clara the freedom she desires from her overbearing mother. But a chance encounter with a man with russet hair and sparkling eyes the color of the sea, who makes her blood sing, will force her to choose between the steady life she knows and this newfound passion. The publisher says that this man isn't who he seems to be, and his secrets, once hidden beneath the waves, threaten to rise up and drown them both. And when an ancient bargain forged in blood between the mythical people of the sea and the rulers of the land begin to unravel, Clara finds herself at the heart of a deadly struggle for power. A gender-flipped story of an ocean creature falling in love with a human? I'll bite. It'll just be a struggle for me to not think of Zoolander saying merman the entire time. The book will be available on June 24th. The next book is Their Accomplices Wore Robes: How the Supreme Court Chained Black America to the Bottom of the Racial Caste System, by Brando, Simeo, Starkey, published by Doubleday, 688 pages. Starkey is a Harvard Law School graduate and member of the New York Bar, and in this book of political history, he brings readers from the Civil War era to the present day to show how the Supreme Court has aligned themselves against Black progress, effectively undermining the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, the ones that intended to abolish slavery, establish equal protection under the law, and protect voting rights. According to the publisher, this book works to demonstrate that time and again, when petitioned to make the nation's founding conceit that all men are created equal real for Black Americans, the 9 Black robes have chosen white supremacy over racial fairness. And Starkey endeavors to explain how America arrived at this point and how society might arrive somewhere better, even as today's federal courts lurch rightward. This sounds like it might be a good follow-up to Isabel Wilkerson's The Warmth of Other Suns, which I recently read, and her subsequent book, Caste, which I've yet to read but is definitely on my list. Heavy stuff for sure, but this might end up being on my required reading list. You can find this book of history on June 3rd. Last is Kuleana, a story of family, land, and legacy in Old Hawaii, by Sara Kehaulani, published by Flatiron Books, 368 pages. I admit to being ignorant to the colonization and stealing of Hawaii until I saw an episode of W. Kamau Bell's United Shades of America on this very topic. This book on the island and the country's 50th state chronicles the author's efforts to hold on to her family's ancestral Hawaiian lands on the eastern side of Maui. When her family receives a property tax bill with an increase of 500%, they have to make a decision about whether they'll fight to keep the land or sell it to the next offshore millionaire. With the help of her great-uncle, Sara uncovers the story of how much land her family has already lost over the generations. The publisher calls the book part journalistic offering and part memoir, interrogating deeper questions of identity, legacy, and what we owe to those who come before and after us. Sara's breathtaking story of unexpected homecomings, familial hardship, and fierce devotion to ancestry creates a refreshingly new narrative about Hawaii, its native people, and their struggle to hold on to their land and culture today. When the opportunity comes up for me to be less ignorant about something, I try to take it. You can find this book on June 10th. You can find links to the publisher's websites below, as well as a link to Library Journal's post with all of the upcoming releases for the month. Are there any new and exciting reads for you this month? Let me know in the comments. That's all from me today. I hope you read well.